Okay, today's angel story goes along with the theme song that I've dedicated to it. It just works too synchronistically perfect, and it actually goes right in line synchronistically perfectly with the story. And I just realized it's also the same year it came out, 2001. And the story, or the song, is called Bullets for Brains by Roland Orzabal. Uh, it's a it's a solo album he did. He's a member of Tears for Fears. And the lyrics are, definitely listen to the original. I'm just going to sing it for my own self-indulgence. And because it's a good song. And it kind of sets the mood. Just going to sing the first few stanzas, but particularly this one verse. It's really good. And I think, honestly, I think this might be an omen or a premonition for what might be happening pretty soon here. If my timeline's correct, I'm thinking I think we're going to see a lot of movement right now, maybe behind the scenes, but February 2, 4, 16, 17. And I'll just leave it there. I'll say 24, but leave it there for now. Well, I saw you weeping, one hand on the Bible, as I sent your soul to kingdom come, ready to be born again. When one man sees a wasteland, another man sees a rainbow. It comes to this: the atheists want bullets for their brains, like a goodbye kiss, but then I'm putting up my peace sign. Always got that peace sign. Keeping up my peace sign. Okay, so this is the lines that go just too perfectly, and we'll call this story Angel Army. Well, I believe in angels. They move like a secret army, and they help me blow the atheist sky high. I'll say it one more time. It's the whole point of the story. I believe in angels. They move like a secret army, and they help me blow the atheist sky high. Can you be atheist and still believe in angels? I think you can. I mean, right? Just because you don't believe in God doesn't mean you can't believe in angels, right? Anyway, so this story takes place when I was young and inexperienced, and I had just gotten hired for my first proper professional, suited up early 20s college degree, mid 20s actually. At this point I was 24. Professional office job, and where they expect you to use your brain and stuff. And I mean, 24, your brain's not even totally developed yet. And thank goodness my suits were cute, and I got the gift of nodding my head and smiling, and right on top of that, Rose. Because other than that, I was learning. We'll say I was learning. But it was when you're so inexperienced that you think that business travel is luxurious. And, you know, it's got its perks, but when you're 24 and ADHD and disorganized and green, it can thank God for angels. Oh. So I was traveling. I was living in San Diego at the time, and I was traveling across country. I was flying into North Carolina, and I rented a car, and I hit my first account. I was a business account manager, and I stayed at, I'm sure it's still there. I don't know how luxurious it still is. I'm sure it's still, it's called the Grandover Hotel. It's a golf resort. And I was doing a training in the spa. And so I rented the car and I went to the Grandover. And it was really nice. And the rooms were nice. So yeah, there are corporate perks. Just looking back on it, I don't think I've had a corporate travel job that that involved, I guess, since. But anyways, so after I was done with my business accounts or doing the training in the spa, I went down to the lobby bar just to kind of just be in the middle of just, I don't know, I still love hotels. I've always loved hotels. Um, I've always worked in hotels. The first time in a long time I haven't worked in a hotel. Even when I owned my own business. There's just something about luxury hotels. I still want to live in a hotel. Actually, I did live in a hotel for a while. But anyway, I was in the lobby bar. It's very beautiful. And I was just sitting having a drink in my cute little business suit, you know, like stuff that you're still excited about when you're in your early mid-20s. And as I'm sitting there just zoning out, this I don't know how old he was. You know, middle age, it just doesn't sound attractive, does it? I mean, I don't know. I've never really addressed a we'll just say a gentleman. If you say distinguished, that usually means it suggests older, right? So the successful, distinguished gentleman, professional, comes to the bar, and I'm still not a big drinker, but he ordered a shot of Remy Martin Louis XIV, a shot of cognac. And I still don't know anything about alcohol, but I do remember the bartender said that they didn't carry it at the time. And, you know, for such a nice hotel, they were like, well, it's a little, we're not busy enough to, and it's such a pricey cognac. So it's now 2025. And if, I think a 1.5 ounce shot of cognac of Remy Martin Louis XIV, it's like 200 and up. I think it can go for as much as 500 a shot. But anyways, I wouldn't have known. But the bartender was like, oh, you know, well, anyway, just the guy wasn't, I don't know what the word would be, overindulgent. I don't know. Maybe some people wouldn't think that's overindulgent, but $500 to me is still a little steep. But it turned out we got into a conversation. It's just an easy conversation. And it turns out that he was there. He had just gotten back from his brother's funeral. And he was getting a shot of Louis XIV to commemorate his brother, which was super cool. And I do remember, like, the guy said, not that it matters, but I just always kind of remember that kind of stuff. Because it's like, I'm always looking for a deal, but back in 2001, I think the shots were 150 a shot. It's like 24 years later. Anyway, so not to get too into the details, but his brother was an electrician, and this gentleman, his name is Ben, he was more of a corporate kind of buttoned up office job kind of guy. He was I remember just thinking, oh, he's just, you know, so God, to think that you used to think that corporate was impressive, and it can be, you know, they're definitely, I shouldn't say that, there's definitely very expert, actually can be pretty brilliant, brilliant people, talented. But he was a SVP, Senior Vice President of Marketing, for a company called Cognos Corporation. It's back in the day. And we just had a friendly chat. So this guy was like super corporate suit, but his brother was an electrician. And he told me that his brother was on a think it was a 50-foot ladder. And I don't know if you guys know this, but electricians, it's like the one thing I won't mess with, right? But he, I guess he was just, I think, just changing a light bulb or a fixture, and unfortunately, I think got shocked. But it was the fall. It fell 50 feet off the ladder. Not that that's an integral part of the story, but it was definitely something I remembered. And, just that little casual conversation that you have in a lobby bar of a hotel, just actually turned into something, really meaningful conversation. And yeah, he was attractive, he was handsome, but it just, it was more so just about that profound interaction. And I'm really good at small talk now. And I used to hate it. I used to hate it until I changed my perspective. And that's for another day. My thoughts on that. Now I don't so much mind it. I won't even make a joke. But we wound up speaking. I remember having a little bit of a buzz on, but he had offered me his business card, and I had left it on the bar, forgot it. And I just remember his name was Ben, and that he was in marketing at Cognos, and he was just there for a day or so, and he was staying on in the hotel for the night, but I knew he was going to be checking out. But being young, like 24, and I guess speaking to somebody in their 40s, mid-40s, he was married and had kids. I guess I was a little smitten. Nothing big, just the way you are when you're 24. So after I checked out of the hotel the next day, I got back into my little rental car, and I drove up to DC